Good morning, I'm Justine, and we are going to do two passages in the Bible today. We're going to do Ephesians and Psalm 86. So we're going to start with Ephesians. Ephesians 2, 3-5. All of us also lived among them at one time, gratifying the cravings of our flesh and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. Wrath being not the flying off of the handle like we often think about in anger. It's more God's justice and His always being fair. His decision after decision after decision. So it takes lots of steps of decisions, leaving us into our own desires and our own mercies, i.e., we slowly get our own consequences. But because of His great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in transgressions. It is by grace you have been saved. There are two stories being told here. One is of us, our human nature, where we all started, where we've all been, and where our human nature will keep taking us back to. And then of God and God's character and who He is and what He's done for us. Before we ever judge or look at someone else and see them as a sinner or look down on their life, judging them in any way, it would be good to be reminded that we've all been there. And very likely our human nature will take us back there. There's a saying often that goes around criticizing Christians that you're holier than thou. And no one is better than anyone else. Never is. And we'll all fall short at times. That brings us to the character of God. He never asked us to fix anything. He did it. It's His grace. It's not something we do. We choose to follow Him. There's obedience required. But He is the one who saved us and gave us life where there was not a lot going for us. This moves us on to Psalm 86. And in Psalm 86, it's a psalm or a lament by David. He's crying out to the Lord. But before that, I think it's important to note when I do read it, he points out that God always listens, that God is powerful, that God is loving, that God wants the best for him, that He will not be shamed. So he knows these things. David actually knows these things, and yet, knowing that God will listen to him and always does, it's amazing that David finds himself in this position. So let's hear what David says. Psalm 86, 1-10. Hear me, Lord, and answer me, for I am poor and needy. Guard my life, for I am faithful to you. Save your servant who trusts in you. You are my God. Have mercy on me, Lord, for I call to you all day long. Bring joy to your servant, Lord, for I put my trust in you. You, Lord, are forgiving and good, abounding in love to all who call to you. Hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for mercy. When I am in distress, I call to you, because you answer me. Among the gods, there is none like you, Lord. No deeds can compare with yours. All the nations you have made will come and worship before you. Lord, they will bring glory to your name, for you are great and do marvelous deeds. You alone are good. David tells us some amazing things. He says to us, talk to God all day. He also says that cry out to Him. It's okay. You can cry out to Him. He says that he trusts God, that he's faithful to God. So this is someone who has a good relationship with God, who is obedient to God, and yet he still ends up in this lament, this begging. It goes on much later in verse 14 to point out what is happening to David at the moment. And I think we can all recognize this, that moment when we are overwhelmed, both physically, emotionally, spiritually. We are just broken. We all want to tap out. We all have that moment where we just want to tap out. He says here, his foes, they are arrogant, they're attacking me. They're ruthless people trying to kill me. They have no regard for you, which means they have no regard for me. So this is one of those moments where you just don't believe you can anymore. One of my sons this week said to me, Mom, life is after me. Life is just getting me down. And we all know that. So what I want to bring to you now is even the strongest Christians, we make mistakes, and it's God's grace that helps us. But more importantly, remember the times He has saved you, because you're going to need those landmarks sometimes to help you out. Cry out to God when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you want to just tap out. David did it, so can we. The beauty is God listens to you. God listens to every single prayer, and He is merciful. So I wonder what you could meditate on that would help you in God's character. What could you meditate on in God's character to help you know how faithful God is, and to help you have an unwavering heart to trust Him? Have a great rest of your day and week. Bye.